कॉन्फ्रेंस। वहाँ डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर अरुण कुमारन आए थे, प्रोफेसर पायली थे और डॉक्टर शीला माने आई थी मैडम।
नमस्ते शांता मैम, नमस्ते किरण मैम।
Light is coming and going. I think we are also having a lot of problems.
In Dwarka, there is a problem.
No. I'm in expressway that side now. I don't know. दो बार गई मैं. I'm connecting every time.
Okay, very surprising because यहाँ पर usually light का इतना issue होता नहीं है.
Yeah. So it's that fleeting moment when the it connects, reconnects. I lose.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
सर 6 बजे अपन स्टार्ट कर सकते क्या?
Yes. Nilesh, it is already 6. We can start.
Great. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, madam.
Namaskar.
नमस्ते, आज आप कैसे हैं?
So we are live now, and good evening to all respected delegates, members, and faculty members who are present over here. I am Nilesh Darji from Corona Remedies. Welcomes you all in this 167th edition of Happy Learning Masterclass webinar series in association with Delhi Gynecologist Forum. The theme for today's webinar is the POSCO Act, all about one would like to know. The first convener for today's webinar is Dr. Asha Jain. So let me introduce Dr. Asha Jain. Madam has 32 years of vast experience in obs and gynec field, and Madam has Foxy Register Ultrasound Training Center and Colposcopy Training Center. Currently, Madam is Director SMSA Hospital Raipur, Medical Director Cancer Prevention and Relief Society, elected member of Chhattisgarh Medical Counseling, Vice President IMH Chhattisgarh, and Madam's field of interest are saving the uterus, fetal medicine, obs and gynec ultrasound, critical care, preventive oncology, and colposcopy. So I welcome Dr. Asha Jain in this webinar. And as per the traditional course, I would like to start this webinar with a lamp lighting session. So let's have the lamp lighting session. Just a minute. Thank you so much, all respected doctors, for your patience. Now I hand over the session to Dr. Asha Jain. So over to you, madam.
Thank you, Nilesh. Namaskar to all the dignitaries present over here, and I welcome all the doctors of Delhi Gynecologist Forum and all the viewers who have logged in. And to give the formal welcome address, I invite Dr. MC Patel, sir, who is the visionary who started this whole series and made it reach 167 to address everyone. Over to you, MC, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Asha. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on this 167 episode of Happy Learning Masterclass web series. I welcome Dr. Sarda Jain, madam, who has kindly consented to be chief guest to bless this webinar. In spite of her busy schedule, she has kindly consented, and she is, we know, founder and secretary general of DGF. She is involved in so many social activities also. So welcome, madam, and thank you for sparing time to bless us. I also welcome Dr. Amita Suneja, madam, president AOGD. She is guest of honor today to bless us for this webinar. I also welcome Dr. Sanjeevani Khanna, madam, director and head OBGYN Fortis Hospital, New Delhi. So I welcome Dr. Sanjeevani Khanna Madam. Thank you for sparing time to bless the webinar. I also welcome speaker for today's webinar, Dr. Sakuntala Kumar. She is going to discuss about POCSO Act, and she is one of the convener also for today's webinar. She has helped me a lot as far as this program is concerned. I also welcome two learned chairpersons who are going to chair that very interesting session, Dr. Kiran Agarwal Madam and Dr. Gaurav Agarwal Sir. I also welcome all the learned panelists who are going to participate in reverse panel. They will be asking the question related to some case-based scenario as far as POCSO Act is concerned. And being a moderator, I will be answering. So I invite Dr. Sangeeta Gupta Madam, Dr. Kiran Chhabra Madam, Dr. Sonal Bathla Madam, Dr. Raj Bukaria Madam, Dr. Shashilata Kabra Madam, Dr. Vandana Gupta Madam, Dr. Ila Gupta Madam, Dr. Richa Agarwal Madam, Dr. Lina Sridhar Madam, and Dr. Anita Rajuria Madam. I also welcome Dr. Asha Jain, who is one of the conveners. She is in this series since long as a convener, and she is doing very master job as far as execution of this webinar is concerned. So welcome, Dr. Asha. I also welcome Dr. Rekha Rajendra Kumar. She is coordinator in this series since long. She is president-elect of Bengaluru Society. So welcome, Dr. Rekha Rajendra Kumar. I also welcome two special guests who are going to participate at the time of panel with their expert comments. Dr. Sanghmitra Barik, who is joint director in NIPPCD, and Mr. Sasank Shekhar, who is Supreme Court lawyer and ex-member of DCPCR. So both of them have worked a lot as far as this POCSO area is concerned. So we have invited them to share their views about this POCSO Act and its implementation is concerned. So in era of COVID-19, where physical meetings were not possible, I started this series. I invited 3 friends, and we 4 friends started this series. And now I am happy to announce this series is 7,000 plus happy member of Happy Learning Masterclass web series. We usually discuss very focused topics every time and one panel. And now we have started reverse panel. Panelists will be asking, and being a moderator, I will be answering. So it has enjoyed by so many delegates in past also as far as this reverse panel is concerned. This is our 6th episode as far as reverse panel is concerned. Every time we go with some different topics. Say, for example, we have done a consent, documentation, MTP Act, CPA and criminal liability during practice, and this POCSO Act. And we are also going to do with PCPNDT Act also as far as reverse panel is concerned. So today we have selected to discuss POCSO Act. So with this brief introduction, welcoming you all the faculties, all the guests and delegates who have joined this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now we start the program. So, Dr. Shakuntala is having some problem in joining. I is unable to join. So once she joins in, she's the convener of this program. We will have her say a few words. And now I would like to invite our chief guest, Dr. Sharda Jain ma'am, for her address. Before that, Nilesh, may I please have her CV?
Dr. Asha, it's okay with me. Please.
Ma'am, it's an honor for me. 4 shabd bolne dijiye. 5.
Yes, Asha.
So Sharda Jain ma'am is known as a teacher of teachers. My personal contact with her was in a vaccine meeting where I had heard so much of Dr. Sharda Jain and the confidence with which she says that you need to have the HPV vaccine. Even if you're above 40, even if you're above 50, just take it. that confidence actually got to me and gave me a lot of confidence to vaccinate my patients. So she has so many positions and she is a very beloved and well-known figure. So over to you, ma'am, as our chief guest to say a few words.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to this 167 happy masterclass of Dr. Patel. And I'm very, very happy that Dr. Patel has included us in this endeavor to teach people more on medical legal issues, in fact, all issues. We are here to deliberate on protection of a child from sexual offences Act 2012. And we feel that every gynecologist should be well versed in its intricacies. In fact, sir, you'll be happy to know that we have been doing this particular POXO Act in various group meetings, as well as in ASGD, there was a special workshop on this. And now I'm very happy that you have also taken this very important topic, because the people in a private practice really do not know anything about it. This act was enacted in 2012. It's a landmark legislation in India that addresses the heinous crime of child sexual abuse. It provides the legal framework to ensure the protection of children from the sexual offenses, establishes the mechanism of reporting, investigating, and prosecuting such crimes. As gynecologists, our role in this framework is indispensable, and our understanding of the act is pivotal in ensuring justice and healing of this particular victim. Why it is crucial that every gynecologist should be knowledgeable. Early detection and intervention. As a frontline health care worker, we often come across many cases of child sexual abuse during a routine examination. Recognizing the signs and symptoms is a vital in initiating early intervention and reporting, which can help to prevent further abuse and trauma of this child. Secondly is the medical examination and evidence collection. I think you will hear in detail much about it. Our expertise is essential, whether we are practicing private practice also, our expertise is essential in collecting and preserving medical evidences, which is crucial for a legal process. Supporting the survivor, which play a significant role in providing emotional and psychological support to the survivor and their families. Understanding the act empowers we gynecologists. And mandatory reporting, this I think, sir, you must rub in their mind that this is very much important. The act places a legal obligation on us to report any suspected cases of child sexual abuse. Failure to do so can result in legal consequences, and therefore being knowledgeable about the act reporting requirements is paramount. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Thank you, madam, for sparing time and your expert comment as far as POXO Acts and implementation is concerned. Thank you, madam.
Now I would like to invite Dr. Rekha Rajendra Kumar ma'am to introduce our guest of honor, Dr. Amita Suneja.
Hello?
Huh?
Dr. Asha, I can't hear you.
Available anymore longer. So now, if she took the MMR and she became pregnant in the second month,
I
what
can't
next?
hear
Dr.
you.
Rekha, are you there?
There is a lot of disturbance. Somebody's here. It's okay now.
Yeah. Okay. Because I can't hear properly, I'm asking her again. Anyway, I
Yeah.
think I'm
Please
introducing
introduce
Amita
madam. Please introduce madam.
Okay, okay, yeah, I could not hear. That's why I was confirming. Dr. Amita Suneja, madam, is the director, professor HOD in the obstetrics gynecology, University College of Medical Sciences and GTB Hospital. Madam's areas of interest is colposcopy and gynec oncology, adolescent urogynecology. Madam has held important positions. One is the president of AOGD, that is Delhi Society 2023 to 24, head of obstetrics gynecology, faculty of medical sciences, University of Delhi. Madam is a chairperson of the oncology committee from 2018 to 20 and organizing secretary of World Congress of NARCHI in 2002. She has more than 100 publications and guest lectures, edited 3 books and received many awards, including WHO Fellowship, in gynec-oncology and she's a recipient of Best Doctor Award. Over to Amita Suneja, Madam.
Thank you, Dr. Rekha, for your kind introduction. And at the outset, I must thank Dr. Patel for inviting me to giving me the honor of being guest of honor for the Happy Learning Master Classes, which is purely his brainchild. And it has reached its heights, great heights, the 167th episode with good attendance and dissemination of knowledge every time. So I am respected Dr. Jain and Dr. Sanjeevni, who is another guest of honor for this gathering, and Dr. Asha, Dr. Shakuntala, who are the conveners, esteemed faculty and dear delegates. Topic POXO is so relevant in today's world, and Dr. Jain has already highlighted why it is so important for the gynecologist, and we have to know each and everything about this act. And let me tell you, in our one-stop center, I'm working in a tertiary hospital, 30 to 40% of the cases are under POXO Act if we deal with the medical legal cases of sexual assault. And we say child when it is less than 18 years. So even if 16 years girl will be a child for this, and we have to register her under POXO Act. So that, and now latest what we have done is in labor room, we check the Aadhaar card. And the ladies who are delivering before 18 years, we have to register them under POXO Act. So it's very important, each and everything of this act. Legally, we are liable for any error. So there's no scope of any error in POXO Act. And if we want to save ourselves, then we have to know each and everything. And in the previous 2 days only, we got a 3-year-old child, raped by her own cousin mama who was 15 years old. Looking after the child, we spend enough time, we collect the evidence, then the other things we have to control. The media will start coming to your one-stop center. One person will come from the Women's Commission, then other person will come from the Child Commission, and then the 2 officers came with black coats from the Juvenile Code. There's so much of pressure on the doctors. So that's what, and we have to be very careful to whom to give statement and to whom not to give statement. Always tell them to come to take a due permission, either from the court or from your administrator. Don't give any statement to these fellows. So with these messages, I'm sure everyone is going to be very rich after at the end of the day. And every one of us must know POXO Act by heart. And thank you for inviting me again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, for sparing time and your words about this POXO Act and cases you are facing in your routine day-to-day dealing with the patient. And very rightly said by you, we should be little vigilant enough in this type of situation and to form our opinion and to whom we have to communicate for the same. It is very much important. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for sparing time.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, Amita, madam, for your words of wisdom. We are happy to have you here.
Thank you, ma'am. And Nileshji, may I now have the CV of Sanjeevni Khanna, ma'am? So it's an honor to introduce Dr. Sanjeevni Khanna, ma'am, MD FICOG with a diploma in advanced gynec lab surgery from France. She is director and head, Department of Obstetrics and Gynae, Fortis Hospital, Shalimar Bagh, New Delhi. She is the former professor.
Thank you, Dr. Asha. I think we
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
on. Yeah.
And we will be happy to hear a few words from you.
Yeah, I think very relevant points have already been highlighted, and an overview given by Dr. Sharda Jain and Dr. Amita Suneja has related the practical situations.
Please stop sharing.
And I just have a few random thoughts that, of course, and these acts, most of them, the POXO Act for one of 2012 is very well worded in itself. As doctors, sometimes, we think that it is difficult to understand section 1, subsection 1 and part 3 and so on. But it's not difficult. It's just a subcategorization of those and which we need to understand because each of the clauses is different. The unlawful act is different and the punishment is different. Now, I just want to highlight that when a girl presents to us in our OPD, or any time in the emergency, whoever's accompanying her, we should be careful if we think the girl is of a borderline age. Like maybe she's got her Aadhaar card there or not, but we should confirm the age. And the person who's accompanying her, it is very important. We as doctors are not supposed to be looking at people with suspicion, but it is quite all right to see what the complaint is and accordingly, do the whole process as required, informing the juvenile court or juvenile police. And one more thing, that sometimes we have repeat offenders. Punishment for repeat offenders is more. So it amounts to aggravated situations. So to have a good classification in our mind as to what is sexual assault, what is aggravated sexual assault, it is not very difficult to have a framework in our mind. What is enticing for pornography? What is involvement in pornography? What is it if the person accused himself is involved in pornography? And what is the impact on whether it's a boy or a girl? So whether a boy can be raped, can we call a boy getting raped or no? Can a boy be raped? So I think we will have a lot of questions answered by Dr. M.C. Patel later in the panel, and a lot of it can be taken up. Sexual offenses can be made to girls and boys both, as we have read in the 19th Amendment as well as in the 12th Act. But we have to look at each specific situation and also examine accordingly. During examination also, we say we have to do an internal examination, per vaginal examination, a per rectal examination. We should follow the rules for examination and have a lady attendant from the family or a nurse or a doctor who can sign as witness. You never examine such patients alone. And so these are a few random thoughts I had just now. So I thought I would share. Thank you so much for the invitation, Dr. MC. Back to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sanjeevani Madam, for sparing time and for your very important tips about the subject. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, our chief guest and guests of honor. And before we end the inaugural session, I would ask Dr. Shakuntala Kumar, who's the convener, if you would like to say a few words, Dr. Shakuntala.
Thank you so very much for being part of this Happy Learning series. Really a kind webinar so many times. Today we have very learned medical legal experts in the whole panel and in the whole this thing, who will be talking about a very pertinent subject. I have been assigned the task of speaking on POCSO. Now, POCSO will be something which is now the need of the hour for all of us to understand and, learn about as private practitioners. All I can say, Dr. Asha and Dr. M.C. Patel, sir, is that most important series that you have started, we already have one Kanun Ki Pathshala going on in Delhi, in which we regularly conduct these webinars. But coming to this Happy Learning series, MC Patel sir, this is, I think, one of the very important series in which we are getting to know some very important medical legal points. With that, I think today's session will be very useful to all of us. Wishing you all the very best for your future endeavors, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shakuntala Kumar. You have helped me a lot for not only for this webinar, but even in past also, whenever I have called you for any of my academic activity, you are always with me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure, sir.
So thank you, respected chief guest Sharda Jain ma'am, our guest of honors, the convener, the panelists, all of you for being here. Our special guest, Mr. Shashank Shekhar and Dr. Sanghamitra. Thank you for being part of this inauguration. With this, we end this session. I thank officially Corona Remedies for being part of this series for a long time, and all the viewers for being present, and making this whole program worthwhile. So with this, sir, with due permission, we will start the scientific session.
Yes.
May I please have the CV? So, sir, I would be introducing our first chairperson, Dr. Kiran Agarwal, madam. As you can see, interior decoration, horticulture, child protection, and making policy changes is her hobby. And these are glimpses from her terrace garden. So, next, please. Yeah, have a look. It makes you feel like you want to sit there and watch. So may I have the CV now? So now this is the official CV that she's a senior consultant, pediatrician, child rights and protection activist, training child protection officers across India under Mission Vatsalya, past president IAP Delhi, ex-member CWC Delhi, and she has immense passion for protection of children. Next slide, please. Dr. Rekha, please introduce her.
Thank you, Dr. Asha. It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Gaurav Agarwal, sir. Sir is MBBS, MD, DNB, and LLB. That's a great thing and a great achievement out of the box, sir. And he's a medical doctor as well as lawyer, as you can make out from his degrees. Currently practicing as a medical legal consultant and is a former professor and head of the Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology at Mulayam Singh Yadav Medical College, Meerut, in the state of UP. Sir has done his MBBS from Maulana Azad Medical College, Delhi, MD and DNB in Forensic Medicine and Toxicology from UCMS, and Guru Tegh Bahadur Hospital, Delhi, Hospital Management from Central Government's National Institute of Health and Family Welfare, New Delhi. Sir's main interest is in the field of legal medicine, especially in medical negligence cases, increasing awareness about medical legal issues, safe medical practice so that all doctors are safe in their practice, inquiries in the medical council, consumer courts, and criminal courts. He is also a spiritual person and teaches Raja Yoga meditation. So, sir is a practitioner of not only medicine, law practitioner, as well as yoga meditation practitioner. Thank you, sir, for having varied hobbies. We would be interested to know from you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Now, I request the chairpersons to kindly take over and introduce the speaker. Oh, Dr. Shakuntala, CV, please.
Asha ji, you will introduce or should I?
Over to chairperson.
It's over to you.
Okay, right. So Dr. Shakuntala Kumar, she is MD from New Life Hospital, Delhi, visiting consultant, Fortis Hospital, Shalimar Bagh, Apollo Kendall Hospital, Moti Nagar, Vice Chairman, PGD, CML, LS, DGF, Scientific Advisor, and to DGF North. She is the organizing chairperson, Akriti Medico Legal Conclave, 2023, organizing secretary, National Conference, FOXI, 2017, POXO, 2008, PCOS 2018, Akriti Breast Saga 2022, recipient of President Abdul Kalam Award. She has 15 publications to her credit, publications of training module for paramedic medical trainees, speaker, faculty, more than 2,000 national, international CMEs. She's organized several youth awareness camps, breast cancer awareness programs, and she's a life member to IMA, AOGD, IFC, IFS, DGG, ES, ISAR. She is past secretary and vice president, DGF North. I would like to ask Dr. Shakuntala Kumar to start her presentation, please. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Shakuntala Kumar, now stage is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a second, sir. Just a second.
Dr. Shakuntala, you want me to play it or you are going to speak live?
Please play, madam. Please play.
The presentation is with you, Dr. Asha.
Good evening, respected seniors and dear friends. At the outset, I am very thankful to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be part of Happy Learning series of webinars. Today, we will be discussing POCSO Act and its amendments. When you look at this act, why was this act special? This act was passed to address the issue of sexual offense against children. That is why this law became special. Before this act, sexual offense was covered under different sections of IPC. There was a void for many types of sexual violence against children. The offense has been very clearly defined for the first time in law, such as the offenses of sexual assault, harassment, and pornography. This law came into force with effect from 14th of November 2012, and it was made comprehensive for protection of children from sexual assault, sexual harassment, pornography, and for children under the age of 18 years. It was meant to safeguard the interests of the child at every stage of judicial process. It was meant for proper development of child in view of his or her protection of the right to privacy and confidentiality. Before POCSO, there were several sections. In section 509, word, gesture, or act intended to insult the modesty of a woman. Under section 354, assault or criminal force to outrage the modesty of a woman. Under section 375, rape was covered, and under section 377, unnatural sexual offences were covered. Let us look at this journal. It is European Journal of Biomedical and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Under this, they studied child sexual abuse under POCSO Act, and to everyone's horror, child sexual abuse cases under IPC 376, 377, 354, POCSO Act 2002, the number of reported cases were 48% of children. Among them, 43% were male and 54% were female children. 24% of these child respondents faced severe form of sexual abuse, and 19% had been sexually assaulted. 57% reported other forms of sexual abuse. Let us look at the age-wide distribution. It is maximally found in the age group between 7 to 11 years and between 11 to 14 years. And if you look at the victim-assailant relationship, again it is very astounding to see that 76% of the assailants were known to the victims. If you look at the offences under the Act, there are several types of offences that have been categorized and penalized. Penetrative sexual assault under Section 3 has a minimum penalty of 7 years of imprisonment and maximum life imprisonment with fine. Aggravated penetrative sexual assault under Section 5 is got minimum of 10 years of rigorous imprisonment. It can go up to life imprisonment with fine. And if you look at sexual assault under Section 7, it has an imprisonment of 3 years to 5 years with fine. Aggravated sexual assault under Section 9, it has got minimum of 5 years or maximum 7 years of imprisonment with fine. And sexual harassment under Section 11 has maximum imprisonment up to 3 years with fine. Use of child for pornographic purposes has been covered under section 13 with a maximum punishment of 5 years. Penetrative sexual assault up to life imprisonment with fine, and aggravated penetrative sexual assault with life imprisonment and that too rigorous with fine. Sexual assault under section 14(4) has 6 years of imprisonment going up to 8 years with fine. And if you look at aggravated sexual assault under section 14 of 5, it has minimum of 8 years or maximum of 10 years of imprisonment. What is penetrative sexual assault? If a person penetrates his penis to any extent into the vagina, mouth, urethra, or anus of the child, or makes the child to do so with him or any other person, if he inserts to any extent any object or a part of body not being penis into vagina, urethra, or anus of child, or he makes child to do so with him or any other person, he manipulates any part of the body of child so as to cause penetration into vagina, urethra, anus, or any part of body of child, or makes child to do so with him or any other person. Or finally, if he applies his mouth to the penis, vagina, anus, urethra of the child, or makes the child to do so to push to such a extent or to such person or any other person. The same penetrative sexual assault will become aggravated penetrative sexual assault under section 5. This lays down the cases in which penetrative sexual assault amounts to aggravated penetrative sexual assault if the same act has been performed by a police officer within the vicinity of a police station, by an armed forces within the limits of their area, hospitals or educational institutions. So because whenever this kind of a crime happens under, it will be considered aggravated penetrative sexual assault, and these are punishable under section 6 of the POCSO Act. Also, this act incorporates child-friendly procedures for reporting of evidence, investigation, and trial of offences. These will include recording of the statement of the child at the residence of the child rather than bringing the child to the police station or the place of his choice, preferably by a woman police. It need not be police station or the residence of the child. No child has to be detained at police station in the night. It is mandatory to report the crime. Not reporting the crime is also considered an act of punishment. The recording statement of the child, assistance of special educator or any person familiar with the manner of communication of the child in case the child is disabled, frequent breaks from the child during trial so that the child gets some mental and emotional rest. No aggressive question or character assassination of the child should be done under the ambit of this act. Special schools are there to conduct trials in camera without revealing child identity, and a compensation is paid for the medical treatment and rehabilitation of the child. For the speedy trial, the evidence of the child is to be recorded within 30 days. That is also very important. Special court is to complete this trial within 1 year. The burden of proof here in POCSO Act is shifted on the accused, keeping in view the vulnerability and innocence of the child. To prevent misuse of the law, punishment has been provided in case there is false complaint or information with any malicious intent. So, it is not that this law can be misused. And to prevent the misuse of the law, again, there is a penalty that has been provided under the law. Media is barred to reveal the identity stable up to 1 year. Duty of states to spread awareness of the provisions of this act is highlighted in this act very clearly. And it is very important that this public awareness should be there about this act and its amendment. Now, not every time you can interview the child. What are the reasons when child interview is important? Number one, to get the picture of child's physical and emotional state as to how much traumatized the child is physically and emotionally. To establish whether the child needs urgent medical attention. To hear the child's version of circumstances leading to the concern. To get a very clear picture of the child's relationship with their parents or family, because somebody known to the child may have done the crime. To support the child to participate in decisions affecting them according to their age and maturity. To find out who the child trusts and to inform the child of any further steps to be taken in the inquiry. To assure the child that she is now safe and would be definitely cared for, looked for, after and protected. To identify areas that would and that might need counseling and psychiatric intervention. Now, there is a very important FIR fact that has been included in the POCSO Act, that is called zero FIR. What is zero FIR? It means that one can file an FIR in any police station, that is irrespective of the place of incident or jurisdiction. Initially the case is filed wherever it has been detected. Now once it is filed, it can be transferred to the police station having jurisdiction for the investigation to begin. Police officers who fail in registration of zero FIR are subject to prosecution under IPC section 166A and departmental action. So no police officer can deny filing of an FIR, whether it has happened in his area of jurisdiction or outside of it. Now, what are the steps of medical examination? Now, medical examination of the child is to be conducted in the presence of parent of the child or any other person in whom the child has faith and trust. In case victim is a girl child, medical examination shall be conducted by a female doctor. Child is not to be called repeatedly to testify to avoid emotional trauma to the child. Now, the registered medical practitioner who will be rendering medical care to this child has to collect evidences after thorough medical examination, has to treat the physical and genital injuries, conduct age assessment of the victim, offer prophylaxis of STD including HIV, and discuss emergency contraceptive with pubertal child and her parents. In case the child is very small, again, the emergency contraceptive has to be discussed with the guardian or with the parent. To do the baseline evaluation of mental health issues, monthly follow-up of these children is very important for at least up to 6 months. A family counseling is part of this whole gamut of counseling sessions. Check for new development of any psychiatric disorders and manage them. Assist the court in interviewing the children or the child that is being involved. Testifying in the court are the steps of this whole process of examination and follow-up. Now let us look at the amendment. These amendments came into being in 2019. The Amendment Act has a number of provisions to safeguard children from offences of sexual assault and sexual harassment. This act aims at making offences against children, number one, very important, gender neutral. Whether it is the male child or the female child that is involved, the quantum of punishment and the gravity of the situation remains the same. The definition of sexual assault has been extended to incorporate administration of hormones or chemical substances to children to attain early sexual maturity for the purpose of penetrative sexual assault. So it is not just penetration, but if you use some chemical substance has been used or hormone has been used on this particular child to attain early sexual maturity, then that is also punishable. The act is critical because it clearly defines child pornography . That indistinguishable from an actual child. The amendments also penalize the transmitting of pornographic material to children and propose to synchronize it with the Information Technology Act. To curb child pornography, this particular act provides that those who use a child for pornographic purposes should be punished with imprisonment up to 5 years and or fine. However, in the event of a second or subsequent conviction, the punishment will go up to 7 years and fine. This POCSO Act seeks to enhance punishment for sexual offences against children with the provision of death penalty in the amended law that was there in 2019. According to this Amendment Act, those committing penetrative sexual assaults on a child below 16 years of age would be punished with imprisonment up to 20 years, which might extend to life imprisonment as well as fine. In case of aggravated penetrative sexual assault, the Act increases the minimum punishment from 10 years to 20 years, and the maximum punishment can go up to death penalty. So, friends, to conclude, the POCSO Act 2012 is exhaustive legislation. It aims at covering all the aspects of child sexual abuse. The amendment has been made in the Act by the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Amendment Act 2019, with which the punishments for the offences have been made more stringent. The need of the hour is to sensitize the public regarding child sexual abuse so that there is no reluctance in reporting these crimes. And the role of media or the state is there to sensitize the public regarding the POCSO Act and the amendments that have come into force in 2019. The investigating agencies should be well trained, and they should be professionals such as medical practitioners who are involved in all the stages of investigation. The trial should be efficient so as to not leave any scope of negligence on their part. The POCSO Act already makes this procedure very, very child-friendly and gender-neutral. This approach should be followed by the judicial officers, magistrates, and police officers so that the child victim can repose trust in them. I thank you for your patient listening and will be open to any questions if there are any. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shakuntala, for a very good introduction of this POCSO Act. So this, to summarize this, India has its own definition on sexual abuse. This act came in 2012 as a recommendation of the child abuse study, which was conducted in from 2005 to 7 by Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India. And as a recommendation, this act came as one of the recommendations of this child abuse study. This is the and this was this applies to all persons under the age of 18. This is gender neutral. Even now, under the adult rape laws, when it was revised in 2013, there is no provision of male rape. But this under the POCSO Act, that any assault on the child, on a person below the age of 18, whether it's a male or a female child, is undertaken. The burden of proof this act gives to the on the accused. It means if child says child has been there was an assault, so it is there, and the accused has to prove if it was done or not. It has all child-friendly measures throughout. It is and everything is done in the best interest of the child. There have to be frequent breaks to the child. There has to be a support person with the child at every step. The trial has to be in the under the camera. The defense lawyer cannot ask the child directly any questions. Defense lawyer has to put up the questions to the judge, and judge has to modify whatever he or she wants to ask according to the age of the child, and ask to the child, or he can even ask the child to come to his room and tell what happened. The compensation is given, and now this compensation immediately for the treatment and for the immediate treatment and rehabilitation, the 10,000 rupees are immediately given, and the compensation is given up to the amount of 10 lakhs. Evidence is recorded within 13 days. The media is not supposed to give the identity of the child. There are special courts who have to, it is not to be, the trial not to be done in the general court. It has to be special courts, and they are setting up, not all the places have the special courts, but Women in Child Ministry, they are setting up the courts. The child has, this investigation has to be done by a lady police officer and not less than rank of a sub-inspector, has to be in the plain clothes. Not a child not has to be asked at the police station, but has to be at the place of child's choice. Maybe it is his home or any other place. Zero FIR can be filed. No police station can refuse for filing this, recording this FIR, even if it is false. This can be proved later, but the FIR has to be filed. FIR not to be refused. The medical examination has to be done by a female doctor, but at the places where no female doctor is available, male doctor can also do it. Has to be a registered medical practitioner. And the emergency, if there is a emergency that has to be tackled first, then the examination has to be done. Child not to be asked repeatedly the same thing. It has to be tried that only once child can be asked, otherwise child can revisit the ordeal and it can become emergency at times. The treatment and the treatment of the profile, even the prophylaxis for the HIV/AIDS, for hepatitis B, or any pregnancy emergency prophylaxis needs to be given. The child has to be counseled properly, and there are one-stop centers now where almost 30 to 40% of the cases are coming under the POCSO Act. The amendments, certain amendments have been done recently to increase the punishment. Under this, as it is as per the definition, this punishment is called aggravated if it is if the assault is done by a police officer or a relative who is responsible for the care of the child. There can be death penalty if a penetrative sexual assault is done on a child less than 16 years of age. And it is not only the penetrative sexual assault, it can be even the stalking, it can be the gestures, it can be the pornography. Child is shown something, shown the private parts, or private parts of the child have been touched. So this is all just to how I have summarized this, what is done under the POCSO Act. Now, any?
Yes, Dr. Gaurav.
Yeah.
Other chairperson.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So my brief message is, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So that first of all, whenever a complaint is registered against the accused persons, so it is not, earlier it was a thinking that now the POCSO Act has come in, so we don't need IPC sections. But in practicality, not only Indian Penal Code sections, but also POXO Act, both are applied. So for the same case, a 375, 376 IPC for rape and punishment for rape, as well as POXO Act, both can be applied. So you can say it becomes, life becomes really hell for the accused persons. That is one. Secondly, I would say from my little practical experience that there are a lot of letters or notices sent to gynecologists for their patients, asking them to explain certain incidents or provide medical records that so and so patient was admitted, and to provide was there any complaint from the side of the husband or from the side of the girl's family actually. So my small message is that these should be taken very seriously and not ignored. And whenever one is to draft a letter, one should get in contact with a lawyer or a medical legal person, because it makes whole lot of difference between getting a draft which is nicely done and writing things from your own mind, because each and every word that we usually write is calculated lawfully. So I would urge that you should, even if it might seem like a simple case, but one might be totally safe, that goes without saying, but the police has a lot of weapons in their hands to harass a doctor. Please mind this line. Police has a lot of weapons in their hands to harass a doctor. So just to escape that harassment, the reply should be drafted point-wise in such a manner that all the complaints or all the demands of the police have been met, and the attempt should be made that no stone should be left unturned, so that repeat questioning may be desired by the police. So this is my small message. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gaurav. Yes, Asha.
Thank you, sir. So, thank you, Dr. Shakuntala, Dr. Kiran ma'am, and Dr. Gaurav Agarwal, sir. And now we proceed to the panel. And with due permission, I will start screen sharing.
Dr. Asha, I
Yes,
just have a point. I thought I would bring it up because when you read POXO, I agreed it is our responsibility to know everything about POXO, but it is a bit heavy. It's a bit heavy to go into all these details of what actually constitutes crime. Now, it's your mind runs to this. It's not a good thought, but I want it clarified. So what if a father is giving a bath to his daughter, or if a mother is giving a bath to her son, young small son? So now in which situations can problems arise here?
Ma'am, we will take them in the panel.
Yeah, I hope so.
Request you to sit back and enjoy the panel.
Yes,
We really have a galaxy of experts here.
It's
Dr.
just,
Sangamitra.
yeah, I started.
Actually, I did.
Dr. Sangamitra ma'am and Shashank sir,
Yes.
we will be taking your expert opinions after sir has basically answered the question.
All right, sure.
Okay. Because the BEAR Act has been explained by Dr. Shakuntala, but I know it's not enough. It's the interpretation that is really tough. Yes, ma'am.
All right, sure.
Can I add something? Because I have been listening the presentations of all senior officers. Only few things which are not, explained in this in the session. I just would like to add that. Then we can go for the question answer session, if the panel will be permitting me.
Yes, ma'am.
I just would like to highlight, as I am representing from Ministry of Women and Child Development. This law was it is fine. The law has been come into force since November 2012, and accordingly in the same year also the rules was framed, and the law was again amended in the year 2019, and following which Ministry of Women and Child Development has formulated rules on the Amendment Act. So apart from this, we have a model guidelines which has been developed by Ministry of Women and Child Development, wherein few points have been highlighted or explained properly, which are exclusively highlighting the role of medical fraternity. I'm just highlighting here the modalities of medical examination of children is there, and the role of medical professionals in the context of POCSO Act 2012, mandatory reporting, medical or health history. 26 points are there. How can you collect the history of the child? And if the child resists the examination, what will happen? Techniques to help the child relax, sedation for medical treatment, information essential for medical history. When performing the head to toe examination of children, the points to remember: role of medical professionals, expert witnesses, and FAQs concerning medical examination. Apart from these, who are the counselors, where you can refer the child in case of emergency, if the child is having some emotional problems or the behavioral problems and all. So that is also there. So I think, that part which was not covered, only, one-stop center was given highlighted in the, presentation. Well and fine, because that is in one place only all the services are available. Apart from this, for care, protection and rehabilitation of the children, those who are victims under POCSO Act, they are being dealt by Child Welfare Committee, and 13 members are there in the District Child Protection Unit. And very soon the child helpline functionaries will be in place, and Ministry has already given the instruction and time limit. So all the state governments, they have already, set up their child lines. So we are going to impart them training. Earlier it was child line, now they're saying child helpline, which will be set up at each district child protection unit level. So all they have the role to play in care, protection and rehabilitation of POCSO victims. And those were the children, below 18 years of age. So that is there. And regarding, now we can take up some question and answers as Madam was explaining.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. So we maybe start.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
So this is the most respected panel that we have today. We have as experts, after MC Sir, Dr. Sanghamitra Barik, Joint Director, NIPCCD under Ministry of WCD, lawyer and clinical psychologist. We also have Mr. Shashank Shekhar, who's a Supreme Court lawyer and ex-member of Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights with us as expert. And then we have 12 members of the Delhi Gynecologist Forum who are going to ask the questions that we will have for this panel. So at the outset, I would introduce Dr. MC Patel, sir, who is a consultant obstetrician, gynecologist, and medical legal counselor. He is extremely well known to every Foxian for being literally one phone call away 24/7 for the last 10 years. He was the Vice President Foxy 2018, Organizing Secretary AICOG 2017, Chairperson Ethics and Medical Legal Committee Foxy 2011 to 2013. Also the Honorary Secretary, State SOGO, Organizing Chairperson MMCon 2018, Honorary Member of National Inspection and Monitoring Committee, PNDT Act, Government of India 2015, Honorary Member, State Supervisory Board, PNDT Committee, Gujarat, President Ahmedabad Obstetric Society 2010 to 11.
It will do.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Save time.
And before we actually start the scientific session, that's me, and I've been introduced before. I would request everyone to hear this short appeal.
शुभं करोतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं सुखसम्पदम्.
Respected seniors and dear colleagues, serving Foxy for years together on this auspicious day with folded hands and down head, I seek your guidance, blessings and support to endorse my candidature for the post of Foxy President year 2026, election year 2024. Consistently working for Foxy and trying to visit even a smaller societies and to assist our common Foxian friends in any given situation, I have tried to serve Foxy. I assure to serve Foxy in the same way with the same zeal and enthusiasm. पथ का अंतिम लक्ष्य नहीं, सिंहासन चढ़ते जाना, लिए सभी को साथ, आगे है बढ़ते जाना.
So this I have shared before, and these are pictures of the garden of Dr. Kiran Agrawal. I just love them. So at the very outset, as the introduction, I would like to ask MC sir, what was the need of this POXO Act? We've heard that it was made and whatever happened, but what was the need of this act?
Actually, Dr. Sanghmitra Barik Madam has already thrown some light about this, and she can add also after me. So actually, before this act, all the sexual offenses were covered under Indian Penal Code, section 375, considering them as a rape. But after this introduction of POXO Act 2012, any child below 18, irrespective of gender, so it is gender equal, they are taken under this POXO Act if at all they are sexually assault or sexually harassed victim. And there are special provision as far as these cases are concerned, just mentioned by Sanghmitra Madam or Kiran Agrawal Madam prior also. So to address sexual harassment, sexual assault, aggravated form of sexual assault, penetrative form of sexual assault, aggravated form of sexual assault, and use of children in pornography, where the area as far as this POXO Act is concerned. So with IPC also, POXO is also applicable in this type of situation. So it was need of POXO in that way. Anybody can add up? Kiran Madam or Sanghmitra Madam or Shekhar sir.
Before this POXO Act came, when we conducted this child abuse study, at that time there was no definition for the abuse.
Yes.
For the physical abuse, emotional abuse, or sexual abuse. All the definitions were taken from the WHO and used in the report. And there was this POXO Act is the only, when it came, it has defined, and now India has its own definition, very clear definitions, what is sexual assault. It is not only the penetrative assault, it is,
just
any
sexual harassment, sexual assault, penetrative form of sexual
Patel sir, Mr.
Hmm.
Shashank Shekhar needs to leave.
Yes.
So if we could take his input on whatever he wants to say. For 15
Welcome. Shashank sir, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, I would stop sharing and you can, give your input before you leave.
Yeah. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Asha ma'am. And thank you to Dr. Kiran Agrawal. Thanks to her. Because of her, I got this opportunity to talk to you all. So before I talk about POXO Act, I must let you inform that I was a member of Delhi Commission for Protection of Child Rights in the year 2012 when this act was being formed. I reviewed this bill And I defended this bill in the parliamentary committee also. So there are two very important aspects as far as this act is concerned. If we go through the caption of POCSO, it talks of protection of whom? Children. From what? Sexual offenses. Now coming to children. Who are children? Any person below 18 years of age is a child. Now for a man like me, any person below 18 years of age includes a third gender. When I talk of any person, that means a male child as well as a female child. When I talk of male child, somebody talked here about male rape and all. I'm saying that the POCSO Act is a gender neutral act. A victim can be a male as well as the female. And mind you, the 2007 studies which is being quoted over here, in that 53% of children said they were sexually abused, and equal number of male child, about 51% male children, they said yes, they were also sexually abused. So it's a gender neutral act.
Even for transgender, sir.
G, including the transgender. If you, what I mean to say is, यदि आप इस ambit को बढ़ाते हैं, इस definition को बढ़ाते हैं, तो it doesn't exclude child gender, third gender. So it includes third gender. In a way, it includes third gender. Again, if the legislature had to decide it will not include third gender, then there should have been an exception. There is no such exception in it. So we are not talking of a girl child, a boy child, but we are also talking of a child which is of third gender. And they are being equally sexually abused, even more, what I mean, so devastating way than a girl or child or a male child. So this is, well, and now talking to sexual abuse. The Act defines sexual abuse, Section 3, Section 5, Section 7, Section 9, Section 11, and Section 13. To some extent, Section 50. They all explain what is a sexual abuse. Now coming to Section 3 and Section 5. Section 3 talks of penetrative sexual assault, and 5 talks of aggravated penetrative sexual assault. These are only the two offenses which are heinous in offense under POCSO. Under POCSO Act, the punishment for penetrative sexual assault and aggravated penetrative sexual assault is more than 7 years, and hence a heinous offense. All offenses except for pornography are non-heinous offenses because the punishment in these offenses are less than 7 years. Now coming to the offenses, and if an offense has been committed, like the cases you people have circulated, in most of those cases, the accused are minors. So, and even a minor accused will also be taken care of under the POCSO Act. But he will not be produced before the special court or the children's court. The child will be produced before the JJB. Accused child who is less than 18 years of age will be produced before the JJB. Now, what will happen there? There are two exceptions. If the accused child is less than 16 years of age, he will be treated under the provisions of Juvenile Justice Act, and the maximum period of incarceration in a home is 3 years. But if the child is between 16 to 18 years and has committed a heinous offense, meaning thereby for POCSO, it is penetrative sexual assault or aggravated penetrative sexual assault or such things being done during the pornography. So, if the child is between 16 to 18, please keep it in mind. whenever you are reporting it to, the child will go to the JJB. And under Section 15 of the Juvenile Justice Act, there will be a preliminary assessment done by the Juvenile Justice Board. And the Juvenile Justice Board will see to it whether the crime has been committed in a professional manner or by way of immaturity. So leave it to them. Let them decide. And once they find that the child has committed a crime in like a adult criminal, they will transfer the matter to the juvenile, to the court, children's court. And children's court have the power to return the matter to the JJB if they find that there is some problem in the assessment during preliminary assessment. The worst part is Section 20 of the Juvenile Justice Act, which says a child up to 21 years of age can be put into place of safety. After 21 years, if the rest of the punishment is there, because in most of the cases, these cases, the punishment is about 14 years of age, because two punishments cannot be given to a child. Act says a child cannot be hanged to death, or a child cannot be sent to a home or to a jail for the rest of his life. So the child has to come out. Then, keeping in view the provisions of IPC and other aspects, a maximum incarceration to a child in a jail will be up to 14 years. Okay, but the question is whether it is appropriate to send a child to a regular jail. And what will happen to the child? Will it serve the best interest of the child? The answer is no. Sending a child to a regular jail is not a solution. It worsens the situation. जब वो बच्चा निकलता है तो और भी ज्यादा hardened criminal बन के निकलता है. He's a bigger menace to the society. So whether it's a case of elopement, whether it's a case of sexual offense, whether it's a case of pornography, whether it is a case of sexual harassment has been defined under Section 11 of that. Yet the punishment is less than 3 years, and hence is the petty offense. So वो सारी चीजें हैं. The problem before you is that what to do if you find a case under POXO Act at the same time you feel that is a matter of elopement. That has to be decided by the court. You as a doctor has to follow the law. Section 19 of the POXO Act is very categorical. If anybody comes to know about a sexual offense with a child,
mandatory,
or he comes to know that a child can be sexually abused, go to my words. First clause is a child has been sexually abused or is being sexually abused. And the second clause is the child is likely to be sexually abused. In both these cases, it has to be mandatorily reported to the SJPU or the local police. Now, when I say that in case where the child is likely to be sexually abused, the same has to be reported, it means POXO Act is preventive also. You need not to wait for a child to be sexually abused to invoke POXO provisions. These are the two very important aspects. Now coming to FIR. The FIR has to be drawn under IPC, POXO Act, and in case of pornography, even the IT Act will be involved. If a child who is a child labor and is being sexually abused, Child Labor Act will also be. So FIR is to be filed under all relevant provisions. One FIR. You don't need another second, third, or fourth FIR. Now coming to the provisions, that is the last thing, is 42A of the POXO Act. which opens a gate for the provisions of IPC to enter into the arena of POCSO. 375A, B, 375D, 375CD. These all are the provisions which are given under IPC and are equally applicable in case of POCSO Act.
POCSO. Yeah, I agree.
So that what we have to keep in mind while we are doing this, we will have to see to it under which provision of which law the punishment is strict. If a punishment is strict in IPC, the orders will be passed under the provisions of IPC only. And for that purpose, FIR has to consist of IPC provisions also. This is all what I wanted to say. There is always a confusion which you people should keep in mind in case of penetrative sexual assault and aggravated penetrative sexual assault. Because while I was implementing this act, POCSO Act in Delhi, I had hundreds of sessions with Delhi police because they couldn't differentiate between penetrative sexual assault and aggravated penetrative sexual assault. A gang rape is an aggravated penetrative sexual assault.
Agreed. Yes, yes.
Sexual assault, penetrative sexual assault with a child more than once is aggravated penetrative sexual assault. Penetrative sexual assault with a child less than 12 years of age
is aggravated.
Automatically becomes aggravated penetrative sexual assault. And there is a lot of difference between punishments in both the cases. Thank you.
So thank you, sir, for your comments. And just you mentioned that in a professional manner or out of curiosity, when accused is less than majority age. So in all this definition, one word is used, sexual intent. So any person with sexual intents acts, whether it is a sexual harassment or whether it is a sexual assault or whether it is an aggravated form or whether it is a penetrative form. But when there is a sexual intent, then even if accused is minor, then also it will be treated as a...
Bilkul, sir, bilkul, bilkul.
Yes.
Sexual intent is the touchstone of POCSO.
Yes, exactly.
It is because of this only that doctors have been exempted from POCSO if they are doing what I mean to say, जो काम आप करते हैं, जिस तरह का टेस्टिंग वगैरह करते हैं, within the framework of the medical system.
That we are going to discuss during our further discussion. Case-wise. We are going to touch all this. Yes. Next.
Thank you, sir. With permission, may we start now?
Oh yes.
Shall I add something here regarding this particular question? What was the need of POCSO Act and how it differs from other legislations and all? Few lines, if panel is permitting me, then I can share.
Very brief, because
yes. Other
all
questions
the
as well.
delegates are gynecologists and they are much more interested that in their day-to-day practice, when this type of cases are brought to them, how to deal with those cases, they are much interested in that. So very quickly you can have your expert comments, no issue.
No, sir, already all have explained about this. So only one thing I can tell you, ki Indian Penal Code provisions like 354, 509, 376, all these were applicable in case where there is if a girl child or woman is a victim. It was not applicable for the male child or male person. Similarly, 377 was there, but these legislations were not child friendly at all. Rather adult friendly, because child has to also go to the court of law, criminal court to, when the cases were being dealt. And this under this POCSO, we have a separate court called special court, or the children court, wherever it is. In few states, it is the children court, or somewhere it is the district court and the session courts are designated as special courts and all. And abatement is, if because of the abatement, it has been the crime has been committed, means the person will be also, the abater will be getting equal punishment here. And it's a gender neutral law, mandatory reporting, very, very child friendly law, because no, even in a court of law also, the trial has to be completed within 1 year, within a specific time frame that has been mentioned. And even no aggravated questioning is there in, any public prosecutor cannot ask the aggravated questions. And even the JJ Act and other legislations were there. This is in addition to other legislation, but not 42A, was explained by Sasankji. And quantum of punishment is very high in case of aggravated penetrative sexual assault, or the sexual assault, or the aggravated penetrative sexual assault and aggravated sexual assault. In both the cases, only in any person, if any person from the hospital or any staff of the hospital also will be involved in the crime and all, there will be quantum of punishment also will be high for them. So these are the things, or during other questions we can also address.
We are going to discuss all this in further discussion. So we can switch over to next question. Asa, you are muted. Please unmute.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I'm going to start the session now. My request to the respected panelists, don't ask additional questions in between. We will have a session at the end where we'll have additional questions, because we've tried to cover the entire act. You've heard everything now. Now it's the application that we are going to discuss.
Sure.
So now we have Dr. Sangeeta Gupta with us, who's the VP of DGF, and her hobbies are actually watching TV serials. So over to you, Sangeeta Gupta, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Asha. And these most of the questions, they have now become very easy to answer and to discuss, because they have been discussed before. But one thing I would like to say, that from all the discussion, what I could get is rape is a type of penetrating sexual assault when a male person does it with a female. Am I right, Dr. Patel?
Ma'am, please take the structured questions, and your questions will be answered. You have to just ask them one by one.
We will discuss at the end, but we go with the question.
Yeah. So who is the child, sir?
So any person under 18 is considered child as far as POCSO Act is concerned.
Sir, does the age difference of child means a difference in punishment, sir?
No. Any victim, when he or she is less than 18, then it is considered under POCSO Act.
Yeah. Okay. And then what is this POCSO Act, sir?
Prevention of Child Sexual Offence Act 2012.
And as you said that it is gender neutral.
Yes,
so
gender neutral. So boys are also covered under POCSO Act, yes.
And as far as the provision of punishments are concerned, do the punishment differ when it is done by a child under the age of less than 12 years or more the age of 12 years? So depending upon the age of the victim, punishment differs, sir? And
Yes.
What are the different type of punishment?
Doctors, Advocate Sekhar has very nicely mentioned all this. So punishment ranging from 3 years imprisonment to lifetime imprisonment, and in few of the cases, death sentence can also be awarded under POCSO Act. But it differs from case to case. So we will discuss later on case by case in this very.
And is sexual assault and sexual harassment both are the part of sexual abuse, and what exactly they are?
So as far as sexual harassment is concerned, just I mentioned prior also one word, sexual intent. So any person with sexual intent repeatedly or constantly uttering some words or showing some objects or part of the body to the child, or make child to do so, to utter some words or to exhibit some part of body, and when they follow physically or in social media to the child with sexual intent, it is considered as a sexual harassment. So no need to touch in this as far as this definition of sexual harassment is concerned, but merely uttering some words, some action, some signs, and exhibiting some part of body is considered as a sexual harassment. And as far as sexual assault is concerned, in this sexual assault, touch is there, but it's not necessary it should be penetrative one.
Yeah.
So if anybody with sexual intent touches vagina, penis, anus, breast of child, or makes child to do so with any other person or with him or her so, then it is considered as a sexual assault.
So both are the part of sexual abuse in total.
Naturally, sexual abuse is a big term, and
Yeah.
under sexual abuse, all this will come. Sexual harassment, sexual assault, penetrative form of sexual assault, aggravated form of sexual assault, and aggravated form of penetrative sexual offense. So,
Including pornography.
and use of
That
children
we are going to
pornography.
take in the next question, sir.
Yes.
That we are going to take in the next question.
Yes.
So thank you, Sangeeta ma'am. Now we have Dr. Kiran Chabda,
So good afternoon, everybody.
DGF Northwest.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, sir, though we have heard these words aggravated, penetrative, but I would like to know from you, what is the exact definition of aggravated form of sexual assault?
Yes, in any act of sexual assault, when victim is mentally ill or accused is in a position of trust, say for example, any family member, in police station, police officer, in jail, jail superintendent, in hospital, doctor, in school, school teacher. So person who is in a position of trust, and if he acts as a accused in sexual assault or penetrative form of sexual assault, then it is a aggravated form of sexual assault. It is considered as a aggravated form.
Okay. And what is the penetrative sexual assault?
So when there is a penetration of any part of body, it is not necessary that it should be penis only. Any part of body, when it is penetrated in any orifice, vagina, anus, any orifice of child less than 18, it is considered as a penetrative sexual assault. It is a form of penetrative sexual assault.
And what is aggravated penetrative assault, sir?
Same. When victim is mentally ill and when person who is accused is in a position of trust in penetrative sexual assault, then it becomes an aggravated form of penetrative sexual assault.
So in this case,
and in the same way, if he makes child to do so, to penetrate body part of child to any other person or to him or her, then also it is considered as a penetrative sexual form of sexual assault.
but sir, you have said that aggravated form is when the child is mentally sick. But if the child is mentally sick and is working in the school or is playing in the house or anywhere, so then also the assault is aggravated sexual assault.
So there are two categories. When child is mentally ill, one part, and when accused in a position of trust. Position of trust means he is under obligation to take care of that very child. And if he acts as an accused, then it becomes a aggravated form. Either it is a sexual assault or it is a penetrative sexual assault. But person who is in a position of trust, when he commits offense, it becomes an aggravated form.
So it means the person who has to protect the child is doing the this assault.
Yes.
That's aggravated assault.
So person who is in a position of trust has breached that trust. So
yes.
Any family member doing something wrong as far as sexual assault or sexual offense is concerned, then it becomes an aggravated form.
Aggravated
He is
form.
under obligation to take care of child, and instead of that, he is involved in a sexual offense.
So my next question to you is, sir, that this act was made in 1912.
Yes,
Sorry,
2012.
2012, and then it got amended in 2019.
Yes.
So what were the amendments in IPC related to the child sexual offense?
So before we go for amendment in IPC in 2019 it happened, but in POCSO Act also there were some amendment, and in that very amendment one thing was decided that the fine which is imposed to accused, it should be just and reasonable, and that amount is to be given to victim for her medical management and for rehabilitation purpose. So this was one good amendment which was made in POCSO Act. As far as IPC part is concerned, under section 376, it was previously also 376 was there. So under section 375, rape is defined, and under section 376, form of punishment is defined in 376. And with amendment in 2019, under section 376 DB and DA. So when child is less than 16 years and when one or more than one persons are involved, then all the persons will be taken as a furtherance of common intention. So all will be punished. It was one amendment, and it could be lifetime imprisonment and fine or both. And when child is less than 12 years and when one or more than one persons are involved in that act, then it will be considered as a serious one, and there is a provision of even death sentence in this type of situation, and all the persons involved will be taken into consideration considering furtherance of common intention. So these were two amendments made in IPC in 2019. So Sanghmitra Madam can add if at all anything is remained.
Regarding the IPC amendment, the
Amendment 2019.
IPC, sir, IPC got amended in the year 2018 as Criminal Law Ordinance Act. And prior to that, after Nirbhaya case, it, 354 and 376 was amended in the year 2013 as Criminal Law Amendment Act. So these two were there. And the time frame has been written very clearly. The cases, the charge sheet will be issued within a short time span, within 2 months, in case of heinous offense and all. But regarding stalking and voyeurism, two things were added in a Criminal Law Amendment Act in 2013. Two things have come up. Stalking is equally like sexual harassment case. Whoever is following with a sexual intent is there. So if they are following the child repeatedly, then stalking case was, it was called stalking case. Similarly, voyeurism case was there. The voyeurism term was added. Whoever was watching and just, taking the videography of somebody doing something in her own house and all. So that was called voyeurism. So two things were added.
Yes.
So now IPC, only the POCSO got amended in the year 2019, which Madam was explained by her.
Yes.
Only the IPC, as very few sections were amended.
Yes.
If acid attack was there, 160.
Particularly 376 was amended. That is 376 DA and DB.
370 was also amended in the year 2013 because trafficking is there. Trafficking is also linked with POCSO. If a trafficker, once a girl child is placed in somebody's house as a domestic servant, if she will be abused sexually by the owner of the house, then the trafficker who had brought this girl to the house, the trafficker will also be getting equal punishment under POCSO. So as a abettor.
Yes. Okay.
Next.
Yes.
So my last question to you is, sir, there must be some provisions for child pornography also.
Yes.
If they are, what are those?
So use of any child for pornography purpose is also covered under POCSO Act. And one more thing, when person himself or herself is involved in pornography with that child, then all the section of POCSO, that is section 3, section 5, section 7, section 11, all this section will be applied to that accused person also, other than use of child in pornography. Yes, next.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So now we have Dr. Sonal Bhatla with us, sir. And she does a lot of camps. She's such a senior doctor, but she goes and does surgeries in camps. These are all her photographs. She is HOD San Permanent Hospital. So over to you, Sonal ma'am.
Good evening, sir. So recently we have observed that many young girls are coming to us with their friends, and many of them are sexually involved. Now, if a 17-year-old girl comes to my clinic and she says, she asks for contraceptive advice, I'm stuck. If I don't give the advice, she'll be at risk of unwanted pregnancy and STDs. And if I give the advice, I'll be going against the POXO Act.
Yes.
So what do you say?
So there are two situations. One is our moral duty and one is legal duty. As far as moral part is concerned, rightly said by you, that if we do not advise them properly, then they will end up into unwanted pregnancy and they will come to us only for termination of pregnancy. But if we advise, then it becomes a case of abatement. Because as far as definition of abatement is concerned, under section 107 to 120 of IPC, any person instigate, any person helps, any person aids in constituting the crime becomes a case of abatement. So if we advise contraceptive measures in legal way, we are abating or we are encouraging them to constitute crime under POXO. But we can give them health education, not to have sex, or which are the possibility of STD, etc. We can give them health education, but we cannot prescribe any contraceptive because it becomes a case of abatement.
Right, tablets, sir?
No, it will be abatement then, because you are encouraging them to constitute crime under POXO. But here there is one thing. If girls comes to you, she could be victim. But if you have advised to the boy or her boyfriend, and he is an active person, or accused he will be accused if at all anything happens under POXO. So it will be abatement.
Do we have the moral duty to inform parents?
No. As such, when patient is more than 12 years, he has all the right. And being a professional...
Excuse me, sir. That's another question.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, no issue.
Thank you, sir.
So, sir, here we have Dr. Raj Bokaria, bungee jumping.
Very good.
So, she is at Fortis and Max PPS Hospital. Over to you, Raj ma'am. She was there. Yes, ma'am. You are there. We can see you. Please go ahead.
Yes, Raj madam.
Sir, we can see her, but I cannot hear her.
No. Anybody else can take. No issue.
Can I read that?
Oh, yes. Yes, Anita.
This 16-year-old girl had been brought by her mother with complaints of itching vulva. She was having vulvovaginitis, and on examination, she was found to be having some discharge over vulva and vagina. And unfortunately, when the detailed examination was done locally, she was found to be having a sexually transmitted infection. Now, she definitely gives history of sexual exposure with her boyfriend. Now, what should we do now, sir?
So naturally, we have to...
we have to treat her.
Naturally, we have to treat patient as far as her STD part is concerned, vulvovaginitis and discharge part is concerned. But she is 16 years. So it becomes a case of POXO. So we are under obligation to inform police.
Yes. So if there are any subtle signs, that means if there is even a suggestion of contracting STIs, we must have a strong suspicion of this thing, and we have to inform police.
If it is confirmed that she is a case of sexually transmitted disease, and if she has given a history of sexual exposure with her boyfriend, then it becomes a case of POCSO when she is minor. So we have to inform police or CWC. Yes.
So may I ask something? Aren't we discouraging the child to come to a proper medical facility if we have to report every case to the POCSO? She might go to some quack.
No, we are under obligation under section 19 of POCSO Act as far as information part is concerned. Once we come to know that she is minor and she is victim of sexual offense, we have to inform police. It is mandatory.
Sir, there was some confusion generated by Supreme Court one judgment which had come recently. So a lot of doctors are also confused what to do. There was one judgment
in that very judgment, we are waiting for a copy of that judgment. Observation on part of court was, if marriage life is more than 1 year and if both are minor and if doctor has not reported to the police, doctor will not held responsible. It was the observation of court, but we are waiting for a copy of that very judgment. But till then, we have to observe all the provision of POCSO Act.
Yes, sir. Thank
Coming
you.
back
Thank
to
you
this,
this
about the STD patient, sir. Just wanted to know that does this override, patient confidentiality? I mean, when you mentioned that you go ahead with the treatment, but you report it. I just wanted a clarification on this again.
Madam, it is mandatory under law. So whichever is mandatory under law and we inform appropriate authority, it is not breach of confidentiality.
Yeah, exactly.
And here to inform police, consent of patient is not required.
Yes, sir. You once told us, all of us, that POCSO prevails over all existing laws of land. So that was very, very clearly narrated by you, sir. So we must keep that in mind.
When she is minor, when she is victim of under POCSO Act, then we have to inform police. It is not breach of confidentiality.
We will be taking that further.
Yes.
And now we have Dr. Shashilata Kabra Maheshwari. Shashi ma'am.
Yes, I am here.
She's from DDU Hospital, Delhi Health Services. Ma'am, over to you now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr.
Sir, that
Manish
was
Patel,
a
sir.
garden. Did you see that?
Yes.
We have such talents. I'm just speechless.
Dr. Asha, you didn't ask me for my gardens. I would have posted.
Send it
When
to
I
me
was
even
looking
now.
at this
I will
garden on the
include
screen.
that.
Okay.
Beautiful,
Yes, Shashi madam.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much, Dr. Asha ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. So we know that we have a legal age for consensual sex. So this was an 18-year-old girl, 18 year and 6 months old married girl who was brought to the doctor by her mother with a pregnancy of 39 weeks and she is for cesarean section. So, sir, my question is, what is your procedure or what will you do? Will you proceed with LSCS if it is indicated? And is there any issue of child marriage? Because this girl is 18-year-old and 18 years and 6 months old and is already pregnant.
Yes,
39 weeks.
here she is 18 years, 6 months. So she is major. But pregnancy is 39 weeks. So at the time of conception, she was minor. So at the time of conception, when she was minor, it becomes a case of POCSO. So naturally, we have to treat patient. Whether to deliver vaginally or whether to go for cesarean section, that is up to us. As per indication, we will deal accordingly. But we will have to inform police. If it is an emergency, naturally we will proceed with cesarean. And before patient leaves our premises, we will inform police. If we have time to inform police, then we will inform police and then we will deal with the case accordingly. So it is very much required to inform police in this type of situation. As far as child marriage part is concerned, here it is a irregular marriage. When patient is not major at the time of marriage, I mean a child, and when it is there is marriage, then it is a irregular marriage. So it will be one more area, but we have least concern. We have to inform police. Now up to police what to do as far as this child marriage part is concerned.
Absolutely right, sir. And sir, in this case, suppose we are doing this cesarean in emergency in night hours, so then we can, I think we can initiate a late MLC also.
Yes, we have naturally in one case of famous case, there is Paramanand Katara, court has very specifically mentioned, you first treat the patient, all the legal formality afterward. If it is an emergency to go for cesarean section, naturally we will have to go. If patient is brought in middle of night and it is indicated, immediate indication of cesarean section to go for, then we will naturally go for cesarean section. But before patient leaves our premises, we will inform police that this patient was admitted with us and we have dealt with accordingly. She is major just now, but at the time of conception, she was minor. It becomes a case of POCSO. Please do needful. That's all. We have to simply inform. We are informer. We are not complainant. We have to simply inform.
Yes, I like this word. We are informer. We are not complainer.
Yes.
Very nice, sir.
So, sir, now we have Dr. Vandana Gupta, ma'am, who's the president of DGF East, and her hobbies are reading, singing, dance, book reading and cooking. I asked her for photograph of what she cooked yesterday, but she didn't send it to me.
Oh, so Dr. Asha, sorry for that. Actually, my mom-in-law is very sick, so practically I was doing nothing yesterday.
Sorry.
After her, yeah. Otherwise, I was trying to search my photo gallery also. I didn't get any. So definitely, I'll share something later on.
Asha, ma'am, you've done real hard work.
Really commendable job.
Thank you.
Yes, Vandana madam.
Yeah, so sir, my question is, it's a very common thing that a 17-year-old girl's mother visits with her mother with 6 weeks of pregnancy for termination. We just know that she is underage. Doctor explains to inform the police and the patient and mother refuse for the same and leave the hospital without taking any treatment. What are you going to do?
So even if patient leaves your hospital without taking treatment further, but when she is 17 years and when you came to know that she is 6 weeks pregnant, it becomes a case of POCSO. You have to inform police.
Sir, just an extension of this question. Yes. I got a patient, similar patient, who came with a slip of All India OPD. That girl was pregnant. From there, they had that All India OPD and they came to me for second opinion. Now, what it is? I should take it for granted that All India is informed, so I should not be informed.
Why we should have to take granted? Because if they have informed or if they have not informed, you are under obligation to inform.
I have to inform.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Even they say, Vandana ji, even if pathologist, suppose she has gone to get her urine pregnancy test done from a pathology lab, and if the pathology, is sure that she's pregnant, the UPT test is positive, even pathologist can inform the police.
Yes.
Am I correct, sir?
Yeah, you
or have?
Absolutely.
Dr. Anita, there is a difference. Sir, can or have?
Vandana madam, Anita is absolutely right. And it happened in city of Mumbai only. Patient had a complaint of lower abdominal pain. Her mother took her to sonologist for sonography without consulting anybody. And sonologist gave report of pregnancy of some 14 weeks or so. So patient was brought to gynecologist by her mother. Gynecologist when came to know that she is pregnant by sonography report and by her clinical examination also, he informed police. Now police went to sonologist. Why you didn't inform? So any person, any responsible citizen of India, when he or she comes to know that she is minor and she is case of or victim of sexual offense, he or she is under obligation to inform police. This simple dictum under section 19 of POCSO Act.
Sir, if a patient is a married, she's 17-year-old married woman comes to us in OPD for routine antenatal care. So the first thing we should do is to inform the police.
Yes. Here age matters. Marital status doesn't. Even if she is married, but if she is minor and if she is found to be pregnant or any other symptom or sign rather, and you come to know that she is a victim of sexual offense, you are under obligation to inform police.
And if she comes in a second pregnancy?
Naturally.
No, in second pregnancy, she is a major. But in her first pregnancy, she was minor.
Yes.
Coming to me in a second one.
Second pregnancy, she is major at that very time.
Right.
But if she gives history that she had child of 5 years,
yeah,
just now she is 20 years or 21 years rather.
Right.
So at the time of first conception, first pregnancy, she was minor, and you came to know. that
Right.
she is victim, you are under obligation to inform police.
Okay, even now.
Yeah, even now.
I just wanted to add one line here.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
we get such cases daily, almost daily.
Yes.
So, though we explain them that we have to inform police and they get feared, so we have to counsel them also that it is not good to go to a quack. You better get treatment over here only, and
Yes,
we will do
yes.
all best for you. So
We
that
are-
can counsel them, they can make them calm and can help us.
So
Okay.
we can explain like this. We are here to guide you. We are
Yeah,
here to treat you. We are here to take care of you. But under POCSO Act, we are under obligation to inform police. That is why we are informed.
In villages, can we ask for the comments from final comments from Dr. Sanghamitra as a lawmaker?
Is she there?
Yeah, she's there.
Yes, I was just listening. The delivery.
Yeah. What about the previous pregnancies and deliveries? Are we supposed to inform?
It is nowhere it has been mentioned or in any law or anything. But only thing is there, if you look at the section 19 and section 20, it is mandatory. Whoever has knowledge that this thing, I mean, sexual, the child has been subjected to sexual offences, he has to report it to police.
So here,
Otherwise,
what
punishment what is
responsible
there for
citizen
6
of India
months,
was used?
6 months imprisonment is there.
Yes,
Just
yes.
to get rid of all this
Yes,
6
yes.
months
So
imprisonment.
in section 19, it is very specifically mentioned any responsible citizen of India comes
Any
to
public,
know,
anybody.
a responsible citizen of India comes to know that she is victim of sexual offense or she is likely to be victim of sexual assault. In apprehension also, you are under obligation to inform. That is
Even in child marriage? Even in child marriage?
Yes.
Even in child marriage wedlock?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
What about a corporate hospital where we are working? So the hospital reports or the doctor reports?
So any person who comes to know is under obligation to inform. Whether it is to be through proper channel, if it is system in your hospital, that you will to inform head of the unit or head of the department or head of the institution, and they will inform police, fine. But you are responsible. If they have not reported to the police, then police may take action against you. That why you didn't inform. So
my one objection.
Either we have to inform or we have to make sure that system has informed police in time.
Sir, my one objection is there that the mandatory reporting has been made mandatory so that child does not suffer the same trauma again. That is the whole purpose. Now, when the child is happily married, though it is against the law, but she is happily married for 1.5 years or 2 years and she has procreated happily and she is rearing up the child. She has not complained anywhere. Then what is the use of that mandatory reporting? The person who is happily married and procreating, we are harassing that
under POCSO Act, under section 19 and under section 20, we are under obligation to inform.
Obligation was for एक line, sir. One line is written that it is for prevention of repetition of the same assault to the child.
Agreed, but
Madam, you are only informer. That's it.
Yeah, we have to inform what police has to do.
So then it is not mandatory to make the patient harass that we are informing police. You inform, you do your duty, then police will do their duty. But we inform them before doing a MLC, then they get bugged up and they leave the place. So what is this?
Actually, court thinks, the law thinks that a 15-year or 16-year girl doesn't know what is a happy marriage. They also think that these girls are not able to decide for themselves. The marriage has been forced upon them.
But now, ma'am, they are 19, but she is 19 now. So why the obligation to report her previous?
Already 2 years have passed.
As per law, we have.
Madam, just now she is major, she is 19, fine. But at the time of conception, if she was minor, it becomes a case of POCSO and we have to inform.
Actually, sir, I have made a principle that we go as per the dictum of law. Now it is for the police and the judiciary to decide whether the further proceeding will be taken up under POCSO Act or not?
That is up to them. I mentioned prior also. We are just informer. What they have to do, they will do.
So why we have to tell them that we have to inform police? We are doing for MLC.
Simply
That is our part.
We inform and we are out of purview of POCSO punishment.
But we need not to inform the patient that we are informing police.
Sir, I think we need
not
this.
necessary.
Excuse me, sir. I think
not
this is
necessary.
clarified now that we have to follow the law. So should I go next?
Actually, we should not take it otherwise, because this is also, if the case will be registered or if you will be informing police also, sometimes these children, those who are already married and all below 18 years of age, they need care and protection also. In that way, Juvenile Justice Act will be applicable. If they require, during investigation, police will be coming to know that this child needs all this care and protection, and the child needs to be placed or shifted from the family to the child care institution. That can also be done in some of the situations. So only thing is, medical professionals, they will be doing their duty only in reporting the case. But it is for police will be doing as for on the basis of the best interest of the child, what is there.
Yes. Yes, next.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So this is Dr. Ila Gupta. These are her paintings. And
Beautiful.
she also does poetry writing. So we'll take that next. She is in Cloud9 Hospital, Padpadganj. Over to you, Dr. Ila.
Thank you, ma'am, for really you worked hard to get talents out of us. And thank you, sir. And thank you, ma'am, for inviting me for this panel. It is very, very interesting. And before asking my question, I just want to know that the question which was for the 17-year-old girl who came for the contraception purposes. So in that case also we have to inform police?
Pardon?
There was a question about the 17-year-old girl who came for the contraception.
So in that very situation, we have not to inform police because still offense has not been committed. They are with us for contraceptive advice only. And if we do not advise them on paper any contraceptive advice, our role is over. We can explain them about health education, I mean sex education, not to end up into sexual activity before hitting age of majority, and which are the possibility of STD, etc. But no need to inform police in this situation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, sir, I want to ask, what is the role of a doctor when victim is brought to him or her?
So, whenever this type of victim is brought to us, being a medical person, we are under obligation to deal with the situation. First, we will take consent of patient for examination, because it is very much required. Then proper history, then examination, and notes of all the findings, injury mark near perineum, on thigh, on breast, or any other part of body. Then to treat patient accordingly. If she is bleeding, if there is something inside, then we have to treat accordingly. Then we have to go for prophylaxis of HIV also in this type of situation, because we never know, this type of victims may be victim for HIV also in future. So we have to give prophylaxis for that also. And then we have to form opinion. What is our opinion, whether she is a case of sexual victim, and we have to inform police. So from doctor, it is required.
Sir, just that time I was highlighting this thing. Our ministry has a guideline, model guidelines on POCSO Act.
Yes.
Name is, it is available in internet also, Google.
Yes.
So in model guidelines, everything, all these things are explained for medical professionals.
So I narrated in brief only. Otherwise, there is a government manual for the same. How to deal with a case of sexually victim or in case of rape victim. So it is all the guidelines on government manual, and there is a prescribed kit also for that. In all this kit, everything is there to deal with situation, to collect evidences in this type of situation. It is there.
And sir, Ministry of Women and Child, they have given guidelines that not only at the time of point of care test HIV, they have to be, in follow-up. As per guidelines for HIV screening, at 6 months, they have to again get it
Yes.
repeated. There were clear-cut guidelines by ministry that these survivors should be called at 6 months to get HIV, and at 1 year also there should be clear cut association with some ART. I don't mean to say HIV counselor, and to test and treat if HIV is found to be positive. So we have to, as a service provider, we have to ensure that these survivors on their discharge slips or whatever they are, they should get the HIV repeated at 6 months and at 1 year. So, because a lot of complaints were there, some of the survivor contracted HIV because of sexual assault. So, the ministry has given clear-cut guidelines that they should not be left as such, and we have to repeat test.
So that is why I mentioned we have to go with prophylaxis for HIV, and then after in follow-up treatment, if at all she turns out to be HIV positive, then we will have to advise all the treatment part in future also.
And screening for other STIs also. As a clinician, we must give enough, this thing, history by history and examination and all the relevant tests.
Yes. Next.
And sir, another question is, what is expected under POCSO Act about reporting of offense?
So just we mentioned prior also, under section 19, we are under obligation to inform, and failing which we may invite imprisonment for 6 months and fine and or both. So it is under section 21. Section 21 of POCSO.
And sir,
and one more thing, if person is head of the institution, then there is a provision of imprisonment for 1 year, and fine and both.
Okay. And sir, if a small child comes to us where we are suspecting something, but we are not sure, and the parents are not giving history of any assault, and even child is not giving any history of assault, then should we take any action?
Yes, if we are not sure, but we are suspecting, then we can inform police that way also. We are not sure, but there is some suspicion, and if at all it will turn to be positive, then we will inform you again. So if at all something goes wrong in the family, in future they may have a quarrel in between, or person who is accused in this type of situation, and they file complaints against that accused, then police will come to you. When patient was brought to you, why you didn't inform police? So whenever you are in suspicion, then also it is always better on our part to inform police. But we have to mention very clearly that we have not come to final conclusion. It is mere suspicion, and patient is under investigation.
Okay,
one more provision is there if it is done in good faith.
Yes.
Even if it is a false complaint, if it will be proved as false complaint, nothing will happen, because it has been given
So
for the
doctor,
in a good
yes,
faith. Yes,
it should be in a good faith, because otherwise there is one provision in POCSO also. If it is a fraudulent complaint from anybody related to POCSO, then that person who has complained can be under punishment. So for doctor it is not there, because whatever we do, whenever we opine, it is always in good faith of patient.
Okay. And sir, how to inform and whom to inform?
So we have to inform either police or CWC with acknowledgement, because if at all it turns out to be case in a court, and whenever court asks us, then we should be in a position to justify that we had informed police, because police may turn up that you didn't inform, you never informed. So you should inform with acknowledgement. Whenever you send any copy, then you should send 2 copies, and 1 copy should be signed by the person who have received that information, and that police station officer name, his buckle number, date and time. It is very much important.
Okay, sir. Suppose we have informed on telephone.
Yes,
and
we can inform whom you are informing. Because many times what happens, if you have informed, but if you cannot prove in court of law, it will be troublesome. So first you identify the person whom you are informing, and you should have a recording of that call. If at all you have to prove in court of law, you should be in a position. Or you can have a phone call to number 100. It is recorded call. So on 100 you can call, or if you directly call to any police station from your mobile, that you can record in your mobile and keep that recording as an evidence. Or you can send it by registry ID post. You can send it by mail. And if lower officer are not complying, then you can inform higher officer also. Or in this type of situation, you can inform member of CWC. And once you inform member of CWC, Child Welfare Committee, they will take charge of all this problem, and they will inform police. They will be behind the police. But once you inform either police or CWC, your role is over.
Even sir, even DCPO as well. DCPO is the district level head of this child protection.
Yes, yes.
He can be also informed.
Yes.
So can we get numbers of those people who we can inform?
I can send you this list of child welfare committees along with the telephone numbers and the district.
It is available online also. You write Child Welfare Committee. All the districts have at least one in Delhi, and nearest is in Ibhas, our area, because Ila ma'am is working in East Delhi. So our CWC and one stop center is Ibhas, linked to Ibhas. So you can.
Next.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. Okay. So,
yes, Dr. Asha.
It would be really
So
nice
this
if
is
you
a
can share
poem that was
list.
written by Ila ma'am, which is very, very spiritual. Can have a look. And then we proceed to the next lecture. We need a little break in between, you know, it becomes too dense. So here. So Dr. Ila, would you take this question, please?
Sure. Sir, then how to deal with the case of sexual assault?
Yes, we have discussed this.
Yeah, already discussed it.
Yes, discussed.
So that's okay. Can sedation be considered for examination of victim?
Yes, we can consider sedation, but before to consider for sedation, we have to explain to the patient, and for that, when patient is minor, she cannot give consent. So consent of guardian is required, whether you are going to go for sedation or whether you are going to go for any short anesthesia.
Okay. So if a patient is...
Sir, can I make a point here?
Yes.
Suppose we are suspecting intoxication in a survivor, then we must withdraw the blood sample first before giving any kind of anesthesia.
Yes.
Also, if victim refuses for examination?
So if she is more than 12, she can give consent for simple examination. If any surgical intervention is required, then again consent of my guardian will be required. But as far as examination, if she is more than 12, she can give consent. If she refuses for examination, then we have to explain her importance of examination. And after explaining that, even she doesn't turn up to give consent, then you cannot force for examination, because consent is very much required.
If victim is refusing and relatives are insisting on examination?
If she is more than 12 years and if she refuses and relatives are ready.
Okay. And sir, if victim is willing and relatives are not willing for examination?
If victim is willing, naturally we have to go for examination.
Okay.
If she is less than 12 years, sir.
Willingness of a guardian is not required if she is more than 12 years. If she is less than 12 years, then for examination also consent of guardian will be required.
Okay. So what is the provision about presence of parents, relatives during examination of the victim?
There is a provision in POCSO. We can allow a person to be present at the time of examination. But before that, we should counsel patient that is she comfortable with that very person who is going to be present at the time of examination. If patient is not comfortable, then we cannot allow. Patient should be comfortable with anybody's presence at the time of examination. Because many a time what happens, person who has brought the victim could be accused. Could be in very few of the condition, but it could be there. So in this situation, patient may not be comfortable with his or her presence. So that is why it is very much important to counsel patient before we allow any person to be present at the time of examination.
Yeah, she should trust that person. And in case of if the parents are not there, relatives are not there, then in presence of a woman nominated by the head of the medical institution can be.
Here word guardian is used. And what is the meaning of word guardian? Person who guards the patient is guardian. Not necessarily he or she should be a relative. So any person can give consent in this type of situation.
If you inform police on in the OPD, and if the patient says she wants to run away, she says, no, I don't want to inform police, then what to do?
If you have information about patient name, age and her address, even if she abscond from hospital without taking treatment further, then also you have to inform police. Once you come to know that she is minor and she is case of, victim of sexual offense under POCSO. Yes, next.
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful answers.
Yes, thank you, madam. Yes, Asa madam. Because I have to join one more meeting. Sorry.
So, sir, we have Dr. Richa Agrawal now.
Yes.
So, Dr. Richa Agrawal, UCMS and GTB Hospital, Delhi.
Yes, sir, I would like to ask, what is the role of a doctor as an expert witness in case of sexual assault or in a case of rape?
We are the 0.1 person of contact in this type of situation whenever patient is brought to us or patient herself has come to us. So when we form our opinion and in court of law, we are called as an expert witness to opine whether that very patient was victim of sexual offense. So our role is very crucial as an expert witness.
And sir, can a doctor refuse to examine a victim of sexual assault who comes to the hospital for treatment, citing that it's an MLC case and requires police requisition or magistrate order?
No, under section 27, it is very much clearly mentioned that sexually victim patient or rape victim patient have all the right to be examined, to be treated by registered medical practitioner doctor. So nobody can refuse any patient in this type of situation and ground that it is a MLC case, police requisition required, magistrate order required, doesn't stand in court of law. No such requisition is required for examination and treatment of patient in this type of given situation. You are under obligation to manage patient accordingly in that very given situation.
But then, sir, if it is a private setup, then who will bear the cost of the treatment to the patient?
Even if you are working at private hospital and this type of victim is brought to you, you are under obligation to examine, to treat.
Even they say that these victims, their compensation will be paid by government, especially in case of vitriol age or these survivors of
In this type of situation, there is mention it should be free of cost when it is an acute emergency. And when patient is settled, then you can ask opinion that whether she wants to continue treatment with you only, then after you can charge, or you can refer patient wherever patient wants to go. But whenever patient is brought in emergency in this type of situation, it should be free of cost.
Thank you, sir, for your answers.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So this is Leena ma'am's garden, her hobby, her love, and over to you, Leena ma'am. She's from Manipal Hospital, Dwarka.
First of all, thank you very much. It's been a really happy learning process, and I've been keenly hearing all the questions and their answers. And being in a corporate hospital, we have started getting patients like this. So no doctor is immune to a case which comes to her. So my question is pertaining to that correctly. So for example, this the same question, it's almost a continuation of what Dr. Dr. Richa was asked. A 17-year-old girl, she visits a private hospital with a history of a sexual assault. So the doctor asks her to go to a government hospital as it is an MLC case, and she needs to be examined by a government doctor. Now, is it mandatory that a victim of sexual assault has to be examined at a government hospital? So this answer is to be very clear to all of us who are there. And is it necessary for a female doctor only to examine a sexual violence victims?
If female doctor is available, patient should be examined and treated by female doctor only. But if female doctor is not available, then male doctor can also examine, can treat patient in this type of situation.
So coming to the first question, which is there. So does the doctor, I mean, the doctor is this correct that the doctor asks her to go to a government hospital as it is an MLC case, and she needs to be only examined by a government doctor?
No, it is not like that.
So
even if you are working at private setup, then also you have to examine and you have to treat patient in this given situation.
So it is mandatory for us to be taking this patient and to be, making an MLC and to be treating her the way the patient has to be treated.
You examine, you treat, you form your opinion, you collect evidences, and you inform police. Your role is yours.
That is why it is very important for us to be knowing about the POCSO Act and to be knowing how to examine the victim as well as to report it to the nearest police station.
Yes, next.
So we have then Anita Rajoria ma'am. She is a camp enthusiast, does poetry, singing, drama, and does a lot of public awareness. So over to you, Anita ma'am. Everybody knows you, but I just couldn't resist.
Thank you, Asha ji.
So I waited for your photos.
Yeah, I couldn't because I got caught up in previous there and it got complicated. So unfortunately, I could not share my photographs with you. But thank you for always encouraging me, Patel sir and Asha ji. You are such a dear friend. My question to sir is that there is a 17-year-old girl who is in relationship with her boyfriend. And unfortunately, this time she has missed her periods on her regular date. Now she's so worried, and now she has gone to her gynae, and she was worried whether she has got pregnant, and she has disclosed her sexual relation with others also, and about her boyfriend also. And now because she's worried, and she tells the doc that her parents are very conservative, and I don't know how they will react to this fact that she's pregnant, and they will not allow her to even continue with her studies. So what is the next step to be done by the doctor, sir?
Naturally, we have to inform police in this type of situation. That is very first step. And whether to inform girls' parents, we are not under obligation because here she is 17 years. So more than 12 years, she has all the rights to decide whether her parents are to be informed or not. So
now
parents, that we cannot.
Now, will the gynae counsel the girl about having safe sex and advise about pregnancy and pregnancy care or termination?
We have discussed this prior also.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a very frequent question. Sir, another thing, if time permits, can I ask you another question which was cropping in up in my mind is, suppose a police gets a 15-year-old for MPP to service provider.
Anita ma'am, that is the next question. Hold on.
Okay.
So this is Raj Bukaria ma'am again. Have a look. And Raj ma'am, over to you. Please unmute yourself. I hope we can hear you this time.
Yes, madam.
We can't hear you.
Madam, either
Raj, madam, you raise your volume. Madam, you will raise your volume. What is the problem?
Now there's
there
something
is
wrong with
something-
her audio. I would request somebody else to please take the
Yeah, I
question.
will share my case only. It is something like that.
No,
The MTP
this
was
case
done.
is already displayed, Dr. Anita. Please ask that.
Yeah. This 17-year-old girl, yeah, she had eloped with her boyfriend, became pregnant, 16 weeks pregnancy, requesting for MTP. She's not willing to reveal the name of her boyfriend and requesting not to inform. That we have discussed that we have to inform mandatorily. Her father is refusing to give consent for MTP. What should the doctor do, sir?
So again, she is 17 years, so she is minor, 16 weeks pregnancy, we have to inform police. Even if a patient or a relative are not willing, then also we have to inform police. As far as MTP part is concerned, she cannot give consent for MTP because she is minor. So guardian should give consent. If father is not ready, and if we think that this pregnancy will be terminated, then we can inform CWC. And many a times a person from CWC can give consent for termination of pregnancy, and we can terminate pregnancy. We will have to preserve product of conception in normal saline, and we will hand it over to the police as an evidence. So that way we can go.
Now, sir, okay, information was given, CWC was called, father somehow consented, the MTP was done. Now father wants to implicate the boyfriend. He wants that the products of conception should be handed over to police for further MLC making and all that.
So
But
here
the girl
again-
is now refusing.
Yes, here
Girl
again,
is now refusing.
she is 17 years. So when she is more than 12 years, she can take decision whether name of her boyfriend is to be given or not, one, and whether product of conception is to be sent for further investigation or not. So we cannot insist to her when she is more than 12 years. But we can explain about importance of product of conception to be sent for further examination. But if she refuses, we cannot insist.
But sir, it can be other way around. Suppose the police brought the girl for MTP and the girl has now aborted. We have saved the sample. Now the girl is also refusing to hand over the sample to police, and the parents are also refusing. But as MLC has
Yes,
already been made, what is to be done now, sir?
That is different situation, and we have to hand it over to the police under, preserving normal saline.
Yes, sir, we did the same. So we were right in handing over the sample to the police, no, sir? Because MLC was already made by police. And the girl was brought only for MTP to us.
Patel sir, how much time do you have?
Exactly, I have to switch over to another meeting. So if all the questions allotted to the panelists are over, then
They are over, sir.
we
Can we
continue.
ask one question,
can
last
continue.
one?
And
Can
if
I ask
anybody
one
has-
last question? Yeah,
Yes.
can I ask one? So is a continuation of what was the last question, which was very interesting. Now, supposing the same girl, now she is more than, she's 17. So she has a right to give the consent. From what I understand is that is of more importance than her parents, not giving the consent, But supposing the same thing was 12 years, it's very clear that then the parents are the ones who will be giving the consent for
naturally,
everything.
naturally.
Whether it is for MTP or against MTP or for preserving the products of
Even for examination.
Even for example.
For simple examination also. Because if she is more than 12, and even if she is minor, then in eye of law, she is considered as a matured minor.
Okay, so she gets precedence over any family member, I mean the parents.
She can take decision for examination.
Excuse me, sir. MC, sir.
Yes, and
You make your appeal, and if you have to leave, then I will continue the discussion here with the experts.
So it is my humble appeal to endorse my candidature for the post of President Foxy election year 2024. If you consider my seniority, my service to Foxy since years together, and to assist all our Foxyan friends and visiting your smaller societies and assisting Foxyan friends in any odd situation as far as medical legal problems are concerned. And if you consider that I can justify this post, and it is my humble appeal to support me, to vote me, and to endorse my candidature. Thank you very much.
All the best, Dr. Patel. All the best for
Thank you.
elections.
I would also make my appeal. I would make my appeal here.
Before I leave, it is humble appeal on part of Dr. Asha Jain also. She is going to contest for the post of chairperson, Food, Drugs and Medico Surgical Equipment Committee, FOXI. She is very hard-working person and she is very deserving candidate for this very post. And she is working this series since long with me. So I appeal for her also.
Good.
All the best, Dr. Asha.
Thank you. MC sir, if you have to go, then you can, I will actually take the opinion of experts now.
Yes. And before I leave, I would like to extend my deep sense of gratitude to all the delegates, all the guests, all the faculties who have joined this webinar. And I would request rather to give your opinion or suggestion to make this type of program even better in future. Thank you very much. And one expert comment from Asha Jain madam, and then I will leave.
Me with expert comment?
Yes, Sarda Jain, sorry, Sarda Jain madam.
Sharda madam.
Yes.
And our full support is there for you. That's it. I can definitely say that we will do it. And Madam Asha, yours also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And MC sir has to leave, so I'm stopping this sharing. But we have Dr. Sanghamitra. We also have Sharda Jain ma'am and Kiran Agrawal ma'am. So this is now an open forum. And anybody who wants anything answered, Sanghamitra ma'am, Sharda ma'am, if you want to say something.
Dr. Asha, can I ask one question now? You can hear me.
Now you can, we can hear you, and we couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's good. So first of all,
Very
thank you
nice
so
to
much.
hear you, Dr. Raj.
No, now I'm joined it through my mobile.
And
Not
thankfully,
from
you know, Dr. Asha
Finally,
showed
I
such
got
lovely
it.
picture of yours. I never knew it was bungee jumping.
No, that is 5 years back only.
But
Not before
only
Corona.
5 years back.
Achha, ma'am, I just want to ask one question. That's a query. One of the senior residents, and this is a true one. She has done the examination of a rape victim, and then for 1 year, that happened in 2020. Now, after 1 year of the working in a government hospital, when she did the rape victim examination, she left the hospital and she was out of the state. And now she got because the SHO got her number from the hospital and he sent a summon to her. She couldn't join that summon to give the expert opinion. And the report is in the hospital, whatever the opinion and the examination was done. So again, after 1 year, she got another summon to appear for the expert opinion. And again, she was not in the town. So now she is scared what to do, and the SHO is not reporting either to the government hospital, the department where it has happened, but she is getting twice and she has not appeared both the time. So now she is scared what if I get a third summon and if I get a warrant, what should I do?
Sharda ma'am,
Sharda
ma'am, are you
that
there?
Resident.
Sharda ma'am, are you there?
Has to respond to the summons.
Kiran ma'am, could you respond, please?
She has to respond to the summons.
I think in
No,
government
why can't she inform
hospital,
back to the hospital people?
Ma'am, she will answer. Dr. Kiran will answer. Just a second.
Just a minute. The last
I'll
summon,
try to.
second time.
I'll
Just
try
a
to.
minute.
Yeah.
Second time, the summon has a note at the end that any other in replace of her can be sent by the hospital.
Yes.
So what the doctor should do?
Neither,
senior
then
resident.
anybody else can be there who identifies the signature of that previous person, that yes, I identify the signature and I am able to that. Usually we do this because senior resident leaves the place and we are not
Usually.
able to trace that senior resident. Then
For
the
the
next
last
senior
2
resident.
times, she's
So the
getting
next
this
senior,
summon.
it is
Ma'am,
the
it
obligation
doesn't
of the
matter.
head
However
of the
many times
department
she
to
gets it.
assign the duty to someone.
So she has to call the SHO and ask you have to report to the hospital, or she can directly call to the administrator of the hospital ki kindly send someone.
Whenever she gets the
What
summons,
she should-
then she should go. Nothing to be done now.
But she's not in the town.
No, listen, when we have
No,
the
no, no.
address of the senior
Only on
resident,
the phone and WhatsApp she's getting the call.
no, we can send another doctor in her place.
That is what saying.
With the
Yes, yes.
medical records.
Can I answer this? Because I have also attended courts. I was in a government hospital. This police officer, if this resident was not there at that time, the police officer should contact the HOD or the head of the institution, and the head of the institution can take information about her from the head of the department, and somebody else can be deputed. Definitely. Anybody can read that MLC report is there and that sheet is there. Anybody can read that. What was done at that time. This is very clear. I can't hear you. Dr. Rajoria, I can't hear you.
One more question. Can I want a clarification.
Yeah.
Like a 4 years old child had come with the mother. Mother is suspecting some mishap or some sexual abuse, but the child is just giving the complaint of the urinary frequency and pain abdomen. The doctor who is examining the child doesn't find any evidence of any injury out externally, and the child, even after asking, because she's just 4 or 5 years old, she is refusing for any sexual abuse history. And then she has written it on the prescription ki yes, get the urine test, and she has given the supportive treatment and reference to a pediatrician also. Now the mother had gone back and informed the police, and she has put the FIR. Now the police people are coming back to the doctor ki why didn't you inform? But the
Yes,
doctor
yes.
was not
Yes,
suspecting.
I think the police is very right. Many of the doctors are there just avoiding, not to have any POXO implications.
No,
they're wrong in it.
avoiding. It was not avoiding. She didn't find. She talked in detail to the child, asking very pamperedly whether you have anything wrong had gone to the local parts. Or not, the child was denying.
Then proper documentation should be there.
No, the documentation was there, but the police had come back to the doctor.
No,
And
then
this is a
we
real
discuss that
scenario.
even if there is suspicion, we have to
There was-
inform.
No, she suspected in the sense that she kept on asking, but there was no external injury, nothing.
No, but even on suspicion, you can inform.
But now
So
what
that
Yes,
the things
yes.
are not repeated, or
Yes,
there
yes,
is
you
no
are
extra assault with us.
you are not the investigator, but you have to inform.
Yeah.
Doctor
Like-
is wrong
Your
here.
suspicion.
Yes,
Like
and
now, she has
Yeah.
not informed. The police is coming back. So will she be under cover of the POXO and the punishment or whatever it is? What should be
This
the
is a
standing
gray
of the
zone.
doctor?
she can face the consequences. She can face the consequences. That is why the doctors have to learn now. It is not only the gynecologist's duty to examine and suspect and do this thing. Many of the pediatricians, they are just avoiding. They will just send the because I have been contacted once by a radiologist, and the history was this child went to the some corporate hospital to a pediatrician. Pediatrician just sent to a gynecologist, and gynecologist referred for the ultrasound, and the radiologist who did it found a fetus there, and she reported, but the pediatrician didn't report. The doctors now, they have to, this is the scenario, they have to learn, they have to, otherwise they'll face the consequences.
What are the consequences for the
I think, ma'am, we have already discussed the consequences, which is 6 months of jail.
Yes.
Or a fine or both. So that has already gone in the act where we've discussed. Ma'am, before we end, Sharda ma'am, would you like to say something before we actually formally end the program? We've been at it for 2.5 hours.
I think the POXO Act should be discussed time and again, and then only the people will be able to report The mandatory reporting also, they have not been able to come to, themselves resolve onto it, that they have to report. See, government hospital, they're reporting it. In private sector, they're not.
Everybody is afraid of losing practice. That patient bhag jayega.
No, it's not a losing practice. It is the police, facing police.
Yes, yeah.
They
are avoiding the case.
I'll tell you, I reported a case. I sent it to the police thana. I sent it with the report and got an acknowledgement. And they said, "Humko pata hi nahi iska kya karna hai." So that is another thing, that even the police is not very sensitized.
Then you tell them, you ask your senior officer ki kya karna hai. This is not our duty to tell you ki kya karna hai. You ask your police officer.
So
senior
for that now, all police is online as well. So it is better to actually send it by email. And if you send the report by email, then whether they act or not, you are not bothered. You just write the complete report and send it by email. All thanas are now connected by email.
And if it is email, they cannot dissolve it just like that. I'm very glad, at least in Delhi, the POCSO has been discussed, and I think this is 6th or 7th time it is being discussed. And still, the private practitioners are coming out of their hesitancy.
In the middle of the night, if the senior resident receives a patient and not to take unnecessary hassle, she says ki jao tum kisi government hospital chale jao.
You can't do that. You really cannot.
You just can't do that.
आपको अपनी इमरजेंसी में ये लगाना पड़ेगा. आपको अपनी इमरजेंसी में लगाना पड़ेगा. That आप नहीं इन्फॉर्म करती है, तो you have to face the thing 6 months or fine or both.
Then what action against that SR should be taken by the head of the department?
No, that is your internal problem, ma'am. That is your internal problem, what you are going to do. But the police and the law have defined that this is going to happen if you don't do it. You cannot shift responsibility. You cannot not report. You cannot not treat, because medical treatment comes first and reporting comes side by side.
Dr. Gaurav is not here. He cites one case where, the patient goes to the pediatrician and the pediatrician कहते सब चले जाओ. तो फिर वो finally पहले gynecologist के पास जाता है, वो inform करती है, then government hospital पे जाता है. So what I'm trying to say, and that gentleman is losing his practice, the pediatrician. So I think the time has come that they have to handle things.
मैम जितना इस पॉक्सो एक्ट को डिस्कस करते हैं ना, उतना ही क्वेरीज आती है, and I think everyone has to know.
Ma'am, what I think is,
mind this is the most stringent act where the punishments are very hard, very stringent, and every doctor, even it is not the pediatrician or the gynecologist, a general practitioner also has to know about this.
Sir, you can't close it also. One thing is good. You can't close it also. And I'm glad, in ISOPAR, somewhere in December, again, there is a workshop on POCSO.
And today's discussion was really great. It
really,
was quite extensive and exhaustive.
Dr.
Covering
Patel.
all the practical questions.
I think inputs
it
from
will
Mr.
make us
Shashank
more
were very good.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, with your permission, should I end the session now?
Please, madam.
Thank you. Thank you,
And
Dr.
I
Asha.
think on the behalf of Dr. Asha, all the panelists here, please support her candidature when her terms come.
Yes. Congratulations, Dr. Asha, for such a wonderful panel and a wonderful talk by all the speakers. Thank you.
You people also did equally good job.
Yeah, everyone was
Shakuntala,
very good.
Thank you so very much.
Say something before we say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Asha, for inviting
on your presentation. I hope you had not recorded it and you had presented it, live. That would have been better.
Actually, madam, there was a lot of glitch here. There is a problem in internet access in my area. A lot of repairing work is going on. That is why I had to record and send it. My apologies for all the glitches, but still, presentation could be done. So much of echo was going on. But I'm so glad I could make the whole Delhi Gynecologist Forum present here. I mean, Dr. M.G. Patel had called me and I just requested him that we have such stalwarts in our forum. They should be present here and they should make their mark in this August gathering. And all I can tell about Dr. Asha is that she is a fetal medicine specialist and she's a wonderful academician and a wonderful soul. So it's like, it will be my pleasure to support you, Dr. Asha. And you can see the strength of Delhi Gynecologist Forum here. Here we have stalwarts in all the specialty and we have regular webinars. So I'm sure everybody must have enjoyed the webinar.
Dr. Asha, ऐसा है कि हम तो ना तो president है ना तो हम secretary हैं, तो आपको support जो हम कह रहे हैं फालतू की कह रहे हैं. We are not the secretary or the president of any those so many societies of the Foxy. तो हम तो खाली verbal support कर सकते हैं.
मैम मैं आपसे ये आप लोगों के पॉजिटिव वाइब्स होंगे ना. I believe that we are all connected. This whole universe is connected. So positive vibes will definitely take me along. Yes, Dr.
Asha, she has made several leaders.
Oh yes,
she has made several leaders. So
I know,
Madam makes the leaders. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's wind up now. Thank you very much, Dr.
All of you
Asha.
who are here right up to the end. Sharda ma'am, Kiran ma'am, Dr. Sonal, Dr. Sangeeta.
Dr. Kiran के बारे में मैं बात बता देना चाहती हूँ. Kiran is more passionate than any one of us. She has been involved right from the 2005 to 2000 study. Then all through the POXO Act, she had been a part of things, and thereafter also the amendments and things like that. She's really passionate. And I promised her that I will definitely bring out a film also by the end of this particular year. I hope so that we do that.
Thank you, Dr. Asha. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure being here. And, in this method that I have of getting hobbies and the artistry out of the gynecologist, it makes me feel so enriched.
That was
we are
really
not
very
just
nice.
machines dealing with patients.
Yeah,
We have our souls and our lives. It's really beautiful and it is enriching me more than anyone else. So thanks a lot. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Corona. And Nilesh, you may put on your video now.
Dr. Asha, is this being recorded?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we have the recording? Because the discussion was great.
Yeah, it
No,
was great.
you will get the link, ma'am. It will be on the group. And if you wish, I will send it to you.
I'll be very grateful to
I will
you
send
if
it
you
to
can send
everyone. No issues. We have the link.
Thank you,
Nilesh?
ma'am. Thank you so much.
What I'm going to do it, I'm going to make a frequently asked questions, and I think there'll be almost 100 questions.
All right. We'll be happy to receive them, ma'am, because when I make my presentations for other societies, there has to be a little bit of change.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people get bored.
Great effort. It can be seen. You have really worked hard.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you,
you.
Nilesh. And
Very
with your
well
permission, ma'am,
coordinated.
may we end it now?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Asha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Thanks for
I'm
inviting.
ending the session.
Thanks for coordinating. Thank you.
Thank you.